Guys, I'm going to make a comment on this Timepiece gentleman thing. Not because I want to, I don't want to, but because unfortunately I happen to be a watch YouTuber. If you ask me, I have nothing to do with those kind of channels. They're utterly different creatures. But everybody wants to hear what I have to say, and the more I say nothing, the more people are now starting to think I'm in on it, or I know the guy, or I've heard from him, or I'm in cahoots, and I'm not. So before things begin to get very perverse, I'll just nip this in the bud, or nick this in the butt, as one of the other channels said. I love sometimes when some of us YouTubers just screw up these idioms. So funny. Anyway, what do I think? If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, just look up what happened to Timepiece Gentleman. Big channel, became very, very big, very, very quickly, and it would seem has kind of exploded somehow, and crashed into the mountain. It would seem. I don't know. Here's my three options. The top three possibilities as far as I can see it, having looked at all the info I could find and having spoken to a couple of other watch YouTubers. Number one, it's a hoax, it's a joke, it's just him trying to set the stage for a big announcement, something new, a new channel or a new property he's moved into or something. If that's the case, he did it really, really badly. Unless he has some genius wizard plan to backpedal on this whole thing. I don't know if he can come out of this unscathed. Even if he does come back on the scene saying, "Oh, I was just kidding. It's actually good news." A lot of people will be like, really? Okay, that's funny. Now we don't trust you at all. So I don't know. But that's still number one on my list, because the guy was really on top of his game. I don't see why he would do anything else. Unless number two is that something legal happened. After all, he was taking people's money, right? He was getting people to send him $2,000 to become what? I don't even know. A member of the, I don't know exactly what they were getting out of that. I'm not even sure they were sure exactly what they were promising to people for it. And that could be an issue. People get into trouble for pretending they're ill, or they have an ill child or something, and going on GoFundMe and pulling everyone's heartstrings and getting donations, and then it turns out they're not sick at all, or there's no problem at all, and they're just taking people's money, and the feds are watching. They're watching that stuff. They're looking out for those kind of scammers. This guy's asking for $2,000, not for $5 here, $5 there. He's asking for $2,000 a head. By the way, if you're one of those people who gave him $2,000, give me your address. I'll send you a mirror, because you clearly don't have one. You need a long look in that mirror, or perhaps a recommendation for a psychotherapist or something. So maybe something happened like that. Maybe there's going to be 6 of those. Or maybe something unrelated to the channel. Maybe he's in other kind of legal trouble. The only reason I'm thinking legal is because everything shut down so fast, and the Instagram and everything is gone. If you're a district attorney, or you're Interpol or someone, or the feds, that's all evidence, usable evidence in discovery. Mind you, so is the YouTube channel, and that's not down, so I don't know. Number 3 is that there was some sort of argument between the two lads there, him and Marco. And we saw maybe the embryonic stages of that there in one of the videos. Not that I watch all this, I don't. I watched his first ones, and then I couldn't watch all his videos. but I've been brushing up just earlier today, and I saw that clip that everybody's talking about, where he's sitting there talking to Marco, getting frustrated with his staff about, I don't know, he has a ledger or a database or something, spreadsheet, where they're supposed to input everything like any other business, and it seems his staff were all sitting around picking their noses and not doing their jobs properly. So he's getting frustrated, as many managers and owners of companies do. Unfortunately, it was on film, it's all over YouTube, him there kind of berating his business partner. And his business partner, I have to say, Marco, kind of taking it very well, I have to say. At one point he actually says to him, sometimes I feel like just getting out of, going solo and just selling a few watches myself by myself. To his business partner. Like, that's something you say to a third party in private and say, well, don't tell Marco, but he actually says it directly to his face. That's like me sitting with my girlfriend at lunch saying, how's your lunch, honey? Sometimes I feel like being single. What? Here we go. Because we didn't hear the other bell. So that could have blown up maybe a few nights ago. They get into it. They're out at a restaurant or a bar or whatever. I know Anthony doesn't drink. That's a good thing, because he seems to have a little temper just underneath the surface. I noticed that in one of the other episodes where they're asking, how long till we have 100,000 views on this video? It was in their early stages when that was, they never had 100,000 views in a video. Now they get it all the time. And one guy goes, oh, Wednesday. And he's like, oh, I like your positivity. That's great. That's way sooner than even I would have said. Then he asked the camera guy, and the camera guy goes, I'd say maybe Saturday. More modest guess. And he has this look in his face like, why are you being negative? And I was like, watch out, watch that. These driven people with their uber positivity, watch them. They're very odd creatures. Don't stand in their way. Remember the film with Nicole Kidman, To Die For? Some people, it's them and their goals, and if you get in the way of that in any way, even if you're just the guy was being perfectly realistic. As it happens, I kind of kept an eye on that, and he didn't even get 100,000 by this Saturday, so. But some people are superstitious with negative. He wasn't even being negative, he was just being realistic. There's nothing wrong with being a little bit realistic. Anyway, so I saw that there, and I was like, yeah, I can see why the guy doesn't drink anymore. A few vodkas in that fella, and then maybe he starts throwing chairs around the room, who knows. But maybe it came to a peak, to a heated moment between the two of them, and Marco went, okay, screw you, and pulled the Instagram down and pulled everything else down. Not that he would have the passwords for some of that stuff, but maybe he does, I don't know. But when they showed the door of the place and somebody tried to scrape off the name, that looked like someone bitter. Like when a ex-girlfriend keys your car. It looked like that, right? Somebody trying to scrape out the name and they couldn't do it. So, could have been just a moment like that, and everyone's just very embarrassed about how it transpired. Maybe it was that girl they hired. Maybe she went by and scraped out the name. I don't know. The fourth option, of course, which I'm not really taking seriously, but everybody seems to be considering it, is that he upped it and ran away with the money and the watches. Come on, really? First of all, if you do that, you don't take down your Instagram. You don't cancel your website and stuff, because that will be alerting everyone to the scam, right? You want to be, by the time everybody realizes they got ripped off, you want to be somewhere, you want to be sitting on a beach earning 20%, right? Alan Rickman and Die Hard. You want to be that. So, I don't know. I think option number 3. Oh yeah, and also with option number 4, you kidding me? That's it's a lot of money. That's more than grand theft, right? So there'd be FBI on his ass, and his face, he's very recognizable. Unless he was heading straight to a plastic surgeon this morning, I think he'd be caught by the weekend, or maybe by the end of today. I don't think that's what happened. But yeah, I saw that bit where he was getting frustrated, he was getting angry, and there seemed to be a little bit of friction. Maybe it was just two buddies, that can happen, but maybe not. Maybe it got worse. He got up and went to lunch, like storming out to lunch. Almost like slamming the door behind him, but not really. Will you go to lunch? What's that? Glengarry Glen Ross, Kevin Spacey. Anyway, they're my thoughts, guys. That's it. I don't know any more than you guys know, but I had to say something because people were going, hold on, is there a timepiece, timeless connection? There isn't, trust me. I've only ever been to Dallas once in my life. Played a gig there. It was all right. Thanks for watching. See you soon.